Let's go for it.
Great. I just want to make sure this thing's working here. Hang on. I did one
You hear
interview.
me okay?
Well, we're all learning kind of a new world here, and this is the first time. I've done this for 20 years, but it's the first time that I've had to actually record via Zoom. And I had one interview last week that I didn't get
Yeah.
video; I only got audio. But it looks like everything's working, so we'll just plan on doing it.
I
Okay.
guess we'll find out soon.
Yeah, we will, but at least we'll have your audio, and then I get a picture, and we'll be good. So I want to kind of go back to what I was asking you a second ago. What did you notice when it came to the stay-at-home order and real estate sales in Colorado Springs from your perspective? You said you didn't really notice much of a change.
Not much at all. I mean, it's been pretty much the same as it was the year before. We had to change the way that we showed property, of course, or not show property, but people were still writing offers. Sellers were still wanting to sell, and buyers were definitely still out there in the market trying to buy homes. So, no, not much of a difference at all.
As far as home sales go, actually in April, PPAR data shows that it fell maybe 7% year to year. Do you consider that a a big loss in sales, or is it pretty even comparatively, especially in light of what happened?
I think in light of what happened, that's pretty low numbers. It could have been a whole lot worse. Volume or the amount of homes on the market were low. There were people not putting their homes on the market, so I think that's part of the reduction in the amount of numbers that sold. However, there was still pretty good activity really through a time where no one's supposed to be out looking at homes.
So you saw a lot of interest in buying despite the current situation.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How did it change how you did business not to be able to show homes in person?
There became a lot more virtual showings, people looking at more video picture, asking sellers to take video for us since we couldn't enter their homes. Virtual staging became a little bit bigger issue down at the board. We started allowing virtual staging. Um, People were writing contracts sight unseen with the hope to be able to get in at some point during the transaction. That was strange times, but it worked out.
That's different, right? I mean, that's not something you probably see a lot of people actually writing a contract without seeing the house in person first.
It's becoming more normal than it used to be in the past, but it's definitely not the norm by any means. So you're seeing a lot of people taking the risk on the fact that the photos and the video work is good enough, and then getting in there later, hoping that what they saw visually on a computer screen was what they were actually purchasing.
That's wild. One of the
It
things
is
you did
wild.
say did go up year to year was the median price, right, of a house. It's like it right around 360,000 for the month of April. It doesn't sound like or feel like things have really slowed down in the Springs at all.
No, you're right. We went from 330 to 360, 500. That's what is that, 9% roughly? That's pretty awesome. The home prices are there on the sell side for sure. On the buy side, maybe not so much, but they're going to continue to go up until we get some more inventory. And I think now that we have the ability to show homes again, we're going to see more sellers, and we have seen more sellers. If you look at May's numbers, there are 400 more homes, 300 more homes on the market than there was the month before. So that inventory may hold pricing instead of making it go up. And I hope so. I think for the consumer, it'll
Yeah,
help.
no kidding. Yeah, there's a lot of people that would prefer that they not pay as much, I'm sure. Sellers would
Yeah.
probably feel the opposite. Um, Realtor.com ranked the Springs the number one housing market in the country again. How sustainable is that in light of the pandemic here locally, but also just in general?
I think it's very sustainable. I mean, we've got people wanting to move in here. At one point before COVID, we had, I think, 26,000 job openings and only around 9,000 people looking for work in the Springs. So we're going to have people still coming into Colorado Springs and the surrounding areas. So I think it's very sustainable for Colorado Springs.
You don't think the economy will downplay that at all in the coming months?
I think the economy, once we open things up, are going to, that's Jacob's crystal ball, not PPAR's crystal ball. But I think the economy is going to rebound strong. I really do. I think it's going to be slow at first, but I don't really think we're going to have this great recession or depression. I think that we'll come back out of this hopefully stronger. And the housing market doesn't seem to be going down at all.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be at all. Your personal firm, how did you had probably buyers that were interested during that time frame when everything was shut down. How did you do things? Did you find yourself doing things differently? Obviously that's probably a little bit more work on your end to have to try to get pictures or video or whatever from the seller. What if you can kind of walk me through what that looked like for you?
Well, the funny thing is our staff was at home. Our agents are at home. Our loan officers are at home. So the new world of doing this on a Zoom or a Google Hangout has become the norm. And like it or not, it's what we've gotten used to. I'm doing more of these Zoom meetings than I've ever done in my life. And so also we've got vacant homes where we've got people running around with their iPhone trying to record stuff to get to the consumers. It was kind of a cool experience, really, to see how we were able to just kind of turn and go to a different direction, and people were okay with it.
Hmm.
So the video world has gotten bigger. People want to see. I think you're going to see a lot more Matterport style 360-degree virtual tours in the future. I mean, they've always been there, but I think they're going to be used a lot more. And I think a lot more people are going to make a decision from the comfort of their couch with their iPad or their tablet, and then go look at a home later.
Yeah, it's wild. A lot of other things that we're doing from home now. Hey, how do you spell
Yeah.
your last name, Jacob?
CUR, B as in boy, OW.
Okay, and what would you call your official title? Just a realtor, local?
I'm actually the chair of the Pikes Peak Association of Realtors.
I knew that. I just wanted to make sure. I guess whatever you want
Yeah.
to be called. um, anything else you wanted to add about the numbers there from the last few months?
If you look at the numbers from January through April, they're really similar to 19. I know that, in April, we had that 200 home gap. That's all COVID related. If you really look at the rest of the months this year compared to last year, we're kind of right on track for the same as 2019. And I think when we get a little more opened up, I think we're going to see those numbers catch up. The loss in sales we had, I think will catch up. I think that our selling season that normally starts around April, May is going to start really around August, September this year.
That's great.
And that's an opinion.
Sure. Sure. Well, I mean, it's probably an educated opinion. I mean, it definitely is an educated opinion, but I mean, it's, based on what you're seeing prior to the shutdown and then things kind of ramping up again. For sure. Did you mention May numbers? Are there new numbers that you might be able to send me, or are we still looking at April?
Yeah, we're still looking at April, May numbers. Of course, last year we had 1,000 in Colorado Springs. We had 1,035 new listings with 819 sales and an average sales price of 335. I'm going to guess we're going to be very similar to that with a much higher median sales price, actually not average sales price.
When do those come in? Did I hear the 15th?
A couple days after
Really?
May, we'll run into those new
Oh,
numbers.
after May. Okay. So
Right.
like June. Okay.
Correct.
All right. That's good. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. If there anything else you wanted to add to the conversation here that we can.
No, but thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to do this. Thanks so much. And thanks,
Sure.
Steve, for me too, if you see him. I appreciate it.
I will.
All right.
will.
Take care.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.